And welcome to the Trump Tyranny Tracker on day 105 of the Trump administration. Here with Olga Lautman, the creator and author of the Trump Tyranny Tracker, the best Substack there is to find out everything you need to know about authoritarian creep. And hello, Olga, how are you today?
As before we went live, it's Monday afternoon and it feels like Friday already. This is how exhausting this regime is.
Yes, if there's one thing this regime is trying to do is to stop us from all sleeping. It's a lot of people are gathering. We welcome you to the show. Thank you very much for being here. And please share this broadcast with your fellow Substackers or in your communities or on any social media. We love to get the word out on what we're doing here at TTT Live. The first story today is all about a new Guardian report about the Trump family fortune. It apparently, according to what you're saying on your Trump Tyranny Tracker today, is that their wealth, the Trump family's wealth, has grown by $3 billion in just 6 months, primarily because of their crypto holdings. They've launched the Trump coin and Melania coins and acquired 60% stake in World Liberty Financial. That's the crypto exchange they launched during the Trump's, early part of their second term. This includes a $2 billion stablecoin deal that they just announced with the UAE. This is quite crazy because they've also, of course, at the same time dismantled all the watch guards, all the watchdogs on crypto, and allowing all these crypto criminals to go off scot-free. This is a crazy story.
It is the most naked corruption. I mean, this is literally an emboldened, leader who doesn't care about laws, doesn't care about regulations, doesn't care about even attempting to hide any kind of criminalities, any kind of conflict of interest. He literally has turned the White House into a pay-for-play, and you have them making money from crypto, which frankly is unprecedented because, like you said, he's dismantling all the safeguards and regulation of crypto. And I mean, the Biden administration worked very hard to rein in crypto because, I mean, it is a means of laundering money and moving money for terrorist operations and, illicit money from drug trafficking and human trafficking. So crypto is dangerous in itself. And here you have, Trump and his kids running around basically making money, stuffing their wallets. And then just to add to this, there are two other stories that were right with the corruption news. Two different private executive clubs basically announced, one by David Sachs, the crypto czar, in DC, which you pay $500,000 for membership to get access to Trump and anyone in this regime. And another one that is being launched, which is also around starting from $50,000 to $500,000, again, to get access to whatever you want. So here, whatever you want, whether it's domestic or international, just, sign up and you can basically pay for the policies that you want. I mean, it's incredible.
Naked corruption like you've never seen before. And of course, I've been reporting on Narativ.org about the new feudalism and also in my crypto conspiracy investigation that what they're actually looking to do with crypto is use that as the base currency for the entire U.S. administration, for the entire executive, that it'll replace the U.S. dollar if they can get it there, which means they'll be even further enriched. But that's their incentive for doing this right now. If crypto collapses, this billion-dollar or multi-billion-dollar empire that Trump has amassed, that disappears. But if it doesn't collapse and crypto continues its climb and they're able to do what they want to do with the U.S. Treasury and the U.S. executive, well, then they'll become even bigger and more richer and more powerful because this crypto oligarchy will be ruling the world, really, and ruling America. It's quite a frightening set of events that could happen if this happens.
And just think about it. A few examples. Russia wants, to take full control of Ukraine and the U.S. to step aside. Okay, they go and, put money through a crypto wallet for Trump to enrich him and his family. The Saudis want, nuclear, plant, okay. They go
Sure.
and buy, move money to that. So, I mean, this is extremely dangerous that you have foreign countries who can basically buy whatever they want. And, Trump and his children who are more than willing to sell access to everything.
And, $3 billion is a lot of money for Trump, who's always wanted to be a real
in a few
billionaire.
months.
And he wasn't a billionaire before. I mean, before he had lost all his money. So suddenly he's a billionaire out of thin air because of these crypto coins that he's launched and the World Financial Organization that he just launched. Annoyed on that last one, by the way, that the Trump Liberty Financial Group is actually bankrolled by the Chinese, originally bankrolled by two Hong Kong businessmen. So you already see the foreign influence in there. Never mind the
Who were
purchase
indicted.
who were indicted. Yes, exactly.
That Trump is basically, about to pardon if he didn't already. So, I mean, he's also pardoning, these criminals on top of this. So,
crypto is the big story of this administration, and it's certainly this nexus of corruption in this big administration and this regime. Our second story today, Trump has announced he's appointing judges that won't require trials for undocumented immigrants. According to the Wall Street Journal, Trump claimed judicial process is too slow and that mass deportation cannot wait. This represents a fundamental attack on due process, of course, and it would bypass constitutional rights, eliminate hearings, and potentially fast-track deportations without legal review. This is a fundamental departure from the way anything's ever worked before, Olga.
I mean, Trump is so frustrated, with judges actually following the Constitution and doing, their job and following the law, that now he wants to find, sycophants to install who basically will disregard the Constitution. And look, once you start disappearing immigrants, it's not too long before you're disappearing, green card holders, which we've already seen them being arrested, naturalized citizens, and then Americans who are born here. So, I mean, the fact once you stop following due process and the Constitution and the law, all gloves are off. It becomes a lawless state, and basically, Trump, next month will say the Democrats are the enemy of the state, which he said a million times. And then it's, a matter of time before people from the Democratic Party start disappearing, or supporters or grassroots people.
Or journalists.
Or journalists, anyone.
As an aside, I should say that DOJ is no longer respecting the rule that they implemented about chasing down leaks for journalists. That's a big departure from what they used to do, which means journalism is at risk again. But the judiciary is facing an incredible attack right now by the executive, and we see it with the arrest of these judges. I mean, what could be more of a constitutional crisis than that?
Absolutely. And again, Trump, I mean, makes me laugh, and at the same time makes me want to pound my head in a wall, because the American media is like, oh, will you follow the Constitution? He's a dictator. What dictator follows the Constitution or follows laws? They rewrite laws. Not that they will say, well, this is the law, so I'm gonna follow it, and I'm not gonna do this. I mean, and we see what is happening. Out of the people who they disappeared to this gulag in El Salvador, I mean, a few investigations basically said that the majority of these people were not criminals. A makeup artist, people who were not criminals. Someone who had a soccer tattoo. One who had a tattoo, I believe, of autism because of his family member. I mean, this is what they're basically going off of: tattoos, and then disappearing these people. Don't want the judges involved, and here we are.
Absolutely, and ignoring the Supreme Court, as someone just pointed out on the other hearing.
And now he wants to install judges who will not even bother. Like, oh, this isn't a case.
And this is the worrying thing about this particular story is, when you start replacing the judges that have been doing a very good job up to now at being sort of the defense of the Constitution, that starts slipping away, and he replaces those judges with these loyalists that are basically just going to be yes men. These are kangaroo courts at that point, and this is a banana republic. When you've just got rubber stamps as judges, that's not a very good situation at all. We've talked about the press, we've talked about the judiciary, but also the IRS is being weaponized against Everybody, but particularly nonprofit organizations that have been critical of the administration. According to the Wall Street Journal, officials are exploring how to revoke tax exempt status from nonprofits they view as hostile, especially those focused on diversity or critical of Trump. IRS lawyers have reportedly been called into a meeting this weekend to fast track legal justifications, with Trump already threatening Harvard University specifically, and insiders indicating a broader crackdown is imminent. Now, of course, nonprofits are the lifeblood of activism and protest in this country. This is a real big problem that they're weaponizing the IRS against any opposition.
Absolutely. And before I get into this, I just want to make a point. We keep saying Trump, 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 Trump. Trump obviously is enacting this, ignoring the laws, but this falls on the whole Republican Party. It is every single Republican who is either silent or on this, bandwagon to hell who is responsible. Because if it was Trump alone and we actually had a functioning Congress, there would be, pushback against this. Trump had the individual, even president, can sign 10 million executive orders. And then if you had a Congress who was in rubber stamping everything, they, with the judiciary, you have two branches that would be pushing back against this. Um, and as far as this, yes. So now, following Putin's footsteps, where he basically took any kind of independent NGO and then labeled it a foreign agent, which became a criminal thing. Here, I mean, this is the first step to dismantling you know, activism and, pushback and of hate code, all these authoritarian policies. So now think about it. If they start weaponizing IRS against civil rights groups, the ACLU, who is fighting a lot of these battles in court, people who are fighting democracy, people who are fighting and working on disinformation, Democratic Indivisible and other democratic grassroots organizations.
Mm.
If they start going after this, and they already launched an investigation based, by the way, off a group funded by dark money from Elon Musk on ActBlue,
Mm.
which is, the hub for Democrats to collect money from $5 on for candidates. So, I mean, this is how you eliminate opposition. This is how you eliminate an opposition party. And this is how you try to silence people from, fighting to push and pushing back against this assault on democracy and law.
I'm so glad you underlined as well that Putin example that Trump is following, because that is exactly what Putin did to really stifle any criticism and any opposition in Russia. And we're seeing Donald Trump follow the same footsteps here. A final story about the Proud Boys. You note that they're on the verge of a return. Tell us more about what's happening with the Proud Boys.
So Enrique Tarrio, the former leader of Proud Boys, was, found guilty of seditious conspiracy for January 6th for his role in the insurrection. Of course, Trump pardoned him. And he was here not here, he was in Mar-a-Lago over the weekend and, basically saw Trump at an invitation not by Trump, although who knows, by another guest. Saw Trump. He was there with his mother, and basically, thanked Trump for pardoning him. And Trump responded, "I love you guys." And this goes to the bigger picture that Trump pardoned the most dangerous criminals, people who beat police officers, people who were, in looking to hang the vice president, looking to hang our political leaders. And he pardoned them and basically praises them. And it just, again, reiterates that Trump will show loyalty and protect anyone who commits political violence as long as they're doing it for him. And this is a very dangerous place to be because, someone like Enrique, they can reactivate the Proud Boys, strengthen the Proud Boys, and say, we can do whatever we want. And we have the, President of the United States who will pardon us, should we commit crimes. I mean, this is an extremely dangerous place to be when you have political violence, which is already escalating. And then the president sitting and basically, I love you guys.
It's kind of shocking because Tario, of course, was serving a 22-year sentence for sedition conspiracy. Oh, hey, Lev, how you doing? Nice to see you. You should come on the show. It's really, an indictment of this presidency that he's been doing this because when we all look at the authoritarian creep and the steps that dictators take, authorizing violence for your political means and allowing violence for your political means is one of the key critical steps in the march to totalitarianism. So here we are seeing a real push against democracy by the president of the United States by simply saying "I love you" to Tario. He's essentially authorizing violence across for his means, for his purposes.
And going back to Russia, I mean, this is exactly what happened in, Russia, where they used the Russian mafia, which is an arm of the Russian intelligence services, to carry out these assassinations and beatings and take out people that disagree, whether it's business people or political people. Who disagree with Putin. So, I mean, clearly here, Trump doesn't have enough Russian mafia established to unleash them. So he's unleashing these mercenary groups. And I mean, it's not going to be too long before you have the Oath Keepers and Proud Boys and the other, whatever they are, the percenters, 3%ers, and other militia groups whose ultimate goal basically is not to have a functioning government, to overthrow the government, under Trump's hand, where he can basically message them very publicly, like he did during the debate in 2020, like, oh, Proud Boys, stand by, and message them to carry out attacks for him. And then after that, come in and pardon them.
There's no doubt that militias are part of his plan. From Trump's open embrace of convicted insurrectionists to his attacks on the independent institutions we all love, we really are witnessing the systematic dismantling of democratic guardrails across the board. Follow Olga's essential Tyranny tracker. It's the best place to find out what's going on with Trump and what his attacks on democracy. And we'll be here every day at 2 p.m., or at least Monday to Thursdays, to bring you TTT Live, which is the Trump Tyranny Tracker Live from Olga Lautman and me, Zev Shalev. We thank you very much for being here, and we'll see you again tomorrow on TTT Live. Thanks, Olga.
Bye.